Hey. Give me a moment. Here's a surprise stream. Enjoy. So, I have to do the thing, you know, the thing, which I didn't do yet because I'm dumb. Let's see. I gotta scooch something. Let me scooch it. Let's scooch you over there. Okay. Let's see here. No, that's not what I want to do. I forgot how to do this. Hold on. Window. Bingo. Alright. Now we're getting started. Screening, sharing. Sharing is caring. Okay, so let's look at this. This is going to be a reaction video. Don't do those often, probably because of copyright. Anyway, I have my, here's a mic check. So my mic seems to be working better. We'll see how it is during this. It doesn't really matter because we're mostly just watching this unfold together and enjoying it as we do. So this is basically, you know, one of these first things I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'll do it again. I just feel like doing it right now. So if you hear any of that background music, it's not copyrighted. It's not part of the broadcast. So don't come for me, Sony, Universal, or the other one, Warner. Don't come for me. I ain't got no money, and I don't care about your song. So anyway, whatever the hell it is. So this is a speech. We're just going to watch a Biden speech. It's just a normal Biden speech. We're just going to take it in. Take it in. The president is speaking. We must listen to it. This is from yesterday. This is the only version of this I could find typing, and I had to type in Build Back Biden because that's, spoiler alert, what he says. Totally says in this thing. And I didn't see this until today. Why didn't I see this yesterday? I don't know. But it wasn't really trending or whatever. So, or it wasn't in my orbit. I didn't see it on my timeline or whatever. But now it's like breaking 911 tweeted about it. And I'm like, oh shit. Yep, that happened. Maybe no one saw it because no one kept their stream up or something. I'm not sure what happened here. Why PBS NewsHour's the only one. Shout out PBS. I'm not taking your shit. Go to their channel, watch their stuff if you want. I don't care. I don't care. It's comedy. Who cares? Shout out to YouTube and AI bots or whatever who reviewed my content last time and took down my video. That was really cool of you. For a thing that had almost nothing to do with that video. Very interesting. Also very interesting that AI did that on an AI stream. A critical of AI stream. But anyway, I got it back up. Yay. Love appeals. So anyway, watch Biden delivers remarks at League of Conservation Voters annual gathering. Again, this was yesterday. I'll go down. Blip, blip, blip. June 14th. Blip, blip, blip. If there's background noise, this is the first stream I've done. I did a mic test. And it worked. So hopefully this sounds good. I don't know if anyone's watching. But here is the whole enchilada. And we'll just take it in. Just take it in. I'll turn it up a tid. There we go. Oh no, we ain't getting music copyright. No.
Hello.
No. Oh, we can't do that.
It's good to be home. Thank you all for those introductions. I want to get started by thanking the League of Conservation Voters Action Fund, Natural Resources Defense Council Fund, Next Gen PAC, the Sierra Club for supporting Kamala and me. There's no support I'd rather have. I mean it. So many of you have been fighting this battle for a long time. And Christina, I don't have to tell you that it's the young people in this country in particular who are leading the way. And I mean that sincerely. One of the reasons I'm so incredibly optimistic. This is the best educated, most committed generation in American history, and they're going to take us over the end, just work it out for us. You know, many of you have been with me throughout my career, and I can't tell you how much it means to have your support again. I was just saying to Carol Brown that we've known each other a little while. She was 12 when she got started. I was a little older.
I was a little older.
That, you know, there's an old expression we joked in the neighborhood I grew up in. You go home with them that brung you to the dance. You all brought me to the dance a long time ago when I got started.
I don't think they talk like that where you come from.
Thanks in particular to the League of Conservationists for hosting us tonight. And thank you all for your leadership in so many important issues over the years. By the way,
they clearly know what they're doing.
There's a lot of threats our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren are going to face. This is
that would be you. You're one of them, yes.
The only truly existential threat. It's the existential threat. If we don't meet the requirements that we're looking at, we're in real trouble. Your work has never been more important than it is today. Together, we've made a lot of progress so far, but we got to finish the job. We got to finish the job.
The job takes longer than 4 years.
And I'm glad to be here to take part in a tribute to my friend Nancy Pelosi, and she is my friend. I honestly believe
not this bitch again.
Nancy is going to go down in history as one of the most consequential speakers in American history, and that's a fact. Nancy led the way.
Well, not for the reasons you would hope, but yeah, sure.
You would never have to worry when she was leading about whether or not she'd pass the bill. She told you how many votes she had, and she had the exact number she'd tell you. That was really nice. You know, she was right every time. We've worked together a long time. She had the votes for so many life-changing pieces of legislation, including historic legislation to combat the existential threat of climate change. Folks, last week, millions of Americans sheltered indoors and wore masks outside as they watched the haze.
Because they were forced to.
My granddaughter and my daughter were up in New York, and they were taking a picture of my granddaughter's apartment. And you couldn't see a block away. You couldn't see the buildings, the pictures they showed me. You know, that haze settled over our homes and our neighborhoods. And, you know, it was a new experience for many Americans, already the norm for communities across the western states. Last year, I, with the EPA and others, traveled in helicopter all the fires that were.
But not East Palestine. I don't give a shit. But not there. That wasn't on the radar. That wasn't on the itinerary. They weren't allowed to go there, apparently.
Out west. And you know, I looked down and I saw more timber burned to the ground than the entire state of Maryland. Not the timber. If you took a map of Maryland, every single part of that state, that's how much burned to the ground.
Let's see how long it takes for him to really just fall apart and not make any sense. That'll be fun.
Hurricanes and other extreme weather caused $165 billion in damage. We still have people wondering whether there's a climate change crisis. Over the past 2 years, a third of Americans have been personally affected by extreme weather events. 1/3. Folks,
that's probably because there's climate control, because there's actual cloud seeding and various ways that governmental bodies are able to destroy the environment all on their own. So this is not a lie. This is not misinformation. It is verifiable fact, according to the U.S. government themselves and a lot of media sources. So let's continue.
That's what climate change looks like. Only it looks worse if we don't do something now. But I don't have to tell you, it's not inevitable. It is not inevitable. With your help, We're doing something about it by reclaiming our leadership on the world stage. The leadership that members of Congress and all of you have made the largest investment in climate, environmental justice, and conservation ever, anywhere in the entire world. And by the way, if you don't mind my asking, would all the members of Congress please stand? All the members of the...
Please stand up, because I would like to have a word. We don't need to applaud them. I mean, come on. What for?
Well, let me tell you, the Inflation Reduction Act includes $369 billion.
How great is that act? It's going so smoothly right now.
To combat climate change. And from day one, we've been working to reduce our carbon emissions. Thanks to the historic law, by the year 2030, we'll be reducing emissions on a yearly basis by 1 billion tons a year.
Which won't make any goddamn difference, because it never does. Not allegedly. Because it's a scam. And a lot of governments are involved in it and benefiting from it in various ways.
1 billion tons a year. The long-coast tax credits are going to create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs, clean energy manufacturing jobs. And if I could divert for just a second, some of you were concerned because I'd been so deeply involved in the environmental movement with the folks here. What happened was I didn't announce my environmental plan for the first month after I announced.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening, guys. Let's really listen in. Oh my gosh, here we go.
And everybody wondered why. Because I said then I was convinced I could bring labor along. Guess what? Labor is with us. Organized labor, unions are with us.
I can feel like the tension in the room as he's completing these sentences, and how people must be like, yeah, well, you know, Trump, he's horrible. He's gonna go to jail. Trump, he's bad. Just keep focusing on Trump.
Supporting us, particularly the IBEW. It's already attracting billions of dollars in private sector investment, even in districts that, in fact, you wouldn't expect. Districts that are all over the map. And then it's already attracting that money. Where members of Congress voted against the bill, we're still having, I made a commitment. I said, like I said, to all my folks, all the Americans in the State of the Union address.
All my folks. I'm not your folk, just so you know.
I promise to be president for all the people, so I'll see them at the groundbreaking, all these folks. All of them, even the ones who voted against it. You think I'm kidding? You all think I'm kidding, I'm not. At solar factories in the Midwest and the South, wind farms across the plains, off our shores, electric vehicle plants, clean steel and clean cement projects, and so much more all across America. Working families can save thousands of dollars a year on energy costs, including rebates to weatherize their home, tax credits for electric heat pumps, rooftop solar, electric
That was a hard word, I'm sorry about that.
Vehicles, new and used. It's a big deal. It's really starting to have an impact. We're focusing on communities that have been denied basic security, basic dignity that comes with clean air, clean water, and clean energy jobs.
Oh, I should say that before this speech, he had a root canal. So keep that in mind, that maybe it's not the best idea in the world to have someone who just completed something so involved on their teeth to speak in front of people live when they already have a problem speaking live in front of people. Just, you know, putting it out there, you know. It seems a little sabotagey.
And that have been denied environmental justice. I signed an executive order to make environmental justice the responsibility of every single federal department in the United States government. For real.
Even the Defense Department? No, that one's somehow escaped his attention, and the people who are behind him, because he's not in charge. Allegedly, they're all puppets. But anyway, that one just somehow just didn't make the list.
And it made a historic pledge to direct 40% of all the benefits from these federal investments in climate change and clean energy to communities that have been left behind for much too long. With your support, we're living up to that pledge. It's called my Justice 40 initiative, making the biggest investments ever in frontline, fence line communities that have been smothered by the legacy of pollution.
Fallujah? I heard Fallujah. I know he didn't say that, but that's what I heard.
Replacing every single lead pipe in America. We're cleaning up old industry sites. Look, we're including brownfields and Superfund sites.
Super sites.
And with the bright, we have the blight of communities that are there for decades that have been.
Oh no, here we go.
Just clobbered all across Appalachia, the Southwest. We're plugging abandoned wells, gas and oil wells that leak methane and dangerous gases, creating jobs, paying the same amount of money to those workers that dug the wells in the first place to cap those wells. We're helping school districts across the country electrify their school buses so kids don't have to breathe the polluted air from diesel exhaust. We're doing the same for the cities and towns. And just today, the Treasury
Again, not East Palestine. Sorry, you're not on the list.
Department issues guidance, so for the first time, local communities, including churches, nonprofits, can take advantage of the clean energy tax credits that can bring cleaner air and cost savings to every corner of America. We're also taking historic action to preserve our country's land and water.
We are almost 10 minutes till the end. When is it going to happen, guys? I'm at the edge of my seat.
My first week in office, I issued an executive order establishing the country's first ever national conservation goal. We called it America the Beautiful, and it's a nationwide campaign to conserve by 2030 at least 30% of the lands, waters that support and sustain our nation. 30%. And we're getting it done. Anybody from Colorado here? Camp Hale. 50,000 acres protected. Boundary waters in Minnesota, 225,000 acres protected. Spirit Mountain in Nevada, 500,000 acres.
Let's take a break for a moment, because I really like to do that sometimes. Just, a little intermission of, for copyright reasons. And now we'll see the speaking equivalent of that.
The Casimir Range in Texas, 6,600 acres. Chaco Canyon, 330,000 acres in New Mexico.
Chaco Canyon?
Bristol Bay and the Tongass Forest, 9 million acres in Alaska. All protected. The list goes on. We're working to designate 770,000
Math is hard.
square
See, I relate to that, though.
miles in the Pacific Ocean as a new national marine sanctuary. We're going to get it done. This is an area larger than Alaska and Colorado put together and almost 3 times the size of Texas. It would make it the largest ocean area on the planet with the highest level of protection. Look, folks, just my first year in office, we, and I mean we, all of us in this room, protected more land and waters than any president since John F. Kennedy.
I didn't do anything. He's saying in the room, so normally he says like everybody in the fucking world or whatever. I didn't have anything to do with it, but I'm pretty sure not all of these people had anything to do with that either. I'm pretty sure he didn't either, but here we go.
And on day 1 of my presidency, We moved to re-enter the Paris Accord because the United States should lead the world
in tax scams, allegedly. Shit that doesn't work.
Lead the world in climate. Last December, the world did follow our lead when countries across the globe committed to safeguarding at least 30% of the lands and waters worldwide by 2030.
It's almost like there's an agenda there, you know, that they're all kind of going by the same agenda, you know, maybe something called Agenda 2030.
And by the way, there's more than one we just say they're off limit. We're paying farmers to plant carbon-absorbing plants. We're paying farmers to put more in conservation. We've mobilized the world's leading emitters to help poor countries deal with the impacts of climate change. They called it at the G7 the Build Back Biden, Build Back Better, and we realized that got confusing. So now we don't call it that. What we call it is, here's the bottom line, look.
There's more.
We're the ones that caused the problem, the United States.
Well, I agree with that.
We cleared all our land. We did all the things to make things more easy for us to make money. Not a bad thing at the time. No one.
Making money is fine. Capitalism is great.
Really fully understood. But we, the major emitters in the world, have an obligation to help those countries. You know, soon,
He really stuck that landing, no?
Africa will have 1
Africa, another part of their agenda.
billion people. China has their Belt and Road Initiative. It turned out to be their debt and destruction initiative. No,
Oh, now we're talking shit about China. That's really smart to do when there's literally hackers, allegedly hackers from China and Russia all the effing time who could cyber attack, like what has happened in the recent couple of days from what is purported to be CLOP, C-L-O-P. What an interesting name. But China has been their go-to target, you know, for like, that's who's going to attack us. But they keep saying this stupid shit in front of people and really like egging them on, which is crazy because also, didn't something come from China, was made in China with money from the U.S. government and ended up leading to a lot of the chaos that we've seen financially, I mean, emotionally as well, physically, and also economically. I'm just saying, things are made in China, and sometimes they're not the most great things in the world. I'm being very vague on purpose. I don't want to get taken down again by the bots. I love you, bots. Thank you so much for listening to my show.
I'm serious, not a joke. Well,
It's not a joke.
We're going to help. We have plans to build a railroad from the Pacific all the way across the Indian Ocean. We have
the Pacific to the Indian Ocean. A railroad. All right.
plans to build in Angola, one of the largest solar plants in the world. I can go on, but I'm not. I'm going off script.
Yeah, you're going off script.
I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, you might, because you're not making sense.
But look, at the UN conference in Glasgow, Scotland, we launched the Global Methane Pledge. When I raised it inside with a small group of people, I said, well, I think we can do that. We helped recruit over 100 countries to follow the lead in setting strong standards to tackle methane pollution.
Doesn't he eat meat? Well, I haven't seen him eat meat in a while. Is he a vegan? Could y'all... I don't know. I don't know what his eating habits are, but I'm pretty sure he eats meat. So it's funny hearing someone talk about methane or whatever. Not meat, just like cow meat, beef. I don't even know the words anymore. I haven't eaten it in so long. Beef. They say it, they call it all kinds of things to like desensitize people from the fact that they're eating flesh. No offense. I'm not trying to like, cast aspersions and judgment on people who eat meat. I really don't give a shit. It's your body. Do what you will. But beef is a cow. So why do they call it? This has just always bothered me. Chicken is chicken. Cow is beef. Lamb is lamb. Why is cow beef and not cow? And then everything else is whatever it is. Y'all ever think about that? It's just something I think about. Duck is duck. Like, it just goes on and on.
Oil and gas operations, holding companies are accountable. Unfortunately, our MAGA Republicans in Congress are trying to undo all the progress we've made.
Oh, this is his go-to. This is the one that he's always talking about in every effing speech that I've ever heard of him.
Made it abundantly clear when the first bill they passed, this new Congress, while they were holding the country hostage over the debt limit.
They held us hostage, guys. Such language. Hostage. I was held hostage over the debt limit, which shouldn't even exist and yet does and has forever, and it always will, apparently. Even if one of your people, if you have a person in the game, even if one of them somehow is selected, it'll still keep going. Everything will be like clockwork all over again. It's called a deep state.
Repeal the climate provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act and replace them with handouts to the fossil fuel industry. Not a joke, literally.
Yeah, you never do that. Wait, you do.
We made clear, they made clear, that they'd rather threaten the fall of the U.S. economy than cut or get rid of, for example, $30 billion in taxpayer subsidies to oil companies who made $200 million last year. Billion.
This is why they shouldn't let him talk for more than 10 minutes. I mean, it's just a preventative measure.
I said $1 billion last year. Imagine the choice. Imagine seeing all this happen, the wildfires, storms, floods, and doing nothing about it. Imagine taking away those clean energy jobs from working class folks all across the country. Imagine turning your back on all those moms and dads living in towns poisoned by pollution and tell them sorry.
Like you did, in East Palestine, when you refused to go there, ever.
You're on your own. I was determined not to let that happen. And with your significant help, we didn't let it happen. We started negotiations with the MAGA Republicans in Congress, and they had a bullseye on the Inflation Reduction Act. They wanted to gut it. Remember, that was the original proposal. They wanted to gut it. We didn't budge. In the end, we didn't just protect some of the climate and clean energy provisions. No, we protected every single solitary one of them.
And then you threw all of the senior citizens under the bus and all poor people and was like, fuck y'all. With the SNAP benefits, worker requirements, and the student loan debt interest continuing, which that could be something that they could all agree on, but of course they won't. But they can all agree, and pretty much Republicans and Democrats probably could agree as well, that student loan interest should not exist and should be wiped out. That's something that we could all kind of get behind. But no, we can't do that. Got to keep that money train going. And then we also have to keep all of the payments going, so they've decided no matter what happens with the Supreme Court, and it ain't going to happen anyway, pause is done. Mainly because of the thing that it was supposed to be about, the national emergency, which no longer exists, which we can't talk about because censorship, and I'm not trying to get another strike from the robots. But yeah, it rhymes with Novid Fly Teen.
Everyone. The ink isn't even dry on our agreement, and they're back at it again with a bill last week to repeal those clean energy tax credits that they attached billions of dollars in investments to, creating tens of thousands of jobs.
Why does this feel like the longest video ever? I'm just like, oh my gosh, end this. It's like torture.
With your help, we're going to stop them again. Let me close with this.
Please.
Look, I was one of the first people to introduce a climate bill in the United States Senate way back in...
I was one of the first people to introduce climate. All right.
1986. And I come from the state of DuPont. Oh, excuse me.
What? I have excused you, huh?
State of Delaware.
The state of DuPont. The state of Delaware. Okay, let's move on.
We have more corporations incorporated in Delaware than every other state in the Union combined. But I was convinced we had to begin this. When I was running for president, I made it a priority to meet with environmental justice leaders and fence line community.
So is he taking a stand against DuPont, or like what was the point of that mention?
Their stories were unforgettable, and I knew they were true. I grew up in Claymont, Delaware, on the Pennsylvania state line where that arch goes up in Delaware, right along the Delaware River.
I couldn't figure it out. Thanks for the visual.
There are more oil refineries in Marcus Hook in that area than any place, including Houston, Texas, taking care of 10 million people in the region. And when we moved there, we lived in a place called Brookview Apartments. And what used to be I-9, what's now I-95, there used to be, it's called the Philadelphia Pike. It was from Wilmington and Philadelphia. And it was a 4-lane access road, but it was too dangerous for a third-grade kid to walk to school. It's only about a half a mile. So
I'm so bored. I'm looking at the background, and I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of everything. Like, how is that set up? I would love a wide shot at this point, but we're not getting one.
my mother would drive us to school every day. On cue.
I'd also like to see the crowd and how many people are there, but we're not getting that either.
The first major frost in the late fall, my mom would get in the car, turn on the windshield wiper to get the dew off of it.
Uh-huh. Where's this going?
And there'd be oil slicks,
Okay.
literally oil slicks on the windshield. How many folks across the country have had similar experiences? As a result, saw higher than usual rates of childhood asthma, cancer. For the longest time, Delaware had one of the highest cancer rates in America, in large part because the winds blow east, not north or south.
Huh? The wind causes cancer? Okay.
Today, those communities across the country, there's people living down
I'm not stating that as a fact. It's a question.
wind from these factories, seeing literally the paint on their cars peel off because the air is so corrosive. Landfills, garbage incinerators, located right in the middle of communities. Drinking water contaminated by radon and arsenic.
Oh, he's yelling at us again.
That kind of inequity and injustice doesn't just go against everything we stand for as a nation. And so when I got elected president with Kamala's
Selected.
partnership, we vowed to enact the most ambitious climate and environmental justice campaign in American history. And that's exactly what we've done with your help.
By approving the Mountain Valley Pipeline in the language of the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023, which is to raise the debt limit, and which you were claiming was a win for your side. Okay.
We made a lot of progress, but there's so much more to do. Getting to 100% clean energy by 2035.
Why not 2030? I thought that's the agenda. So are they going to change it? Are they going to bring it to 2035 next?
Moving to all electric vehicles in the future, made in America. Building.
Yes. Just electric vehicles, guys. And who owns most of those? Oh, yeah, that guy. The guy who loves my podcast, Elon Musk.
500,000 EV charging stations from coast to coast. Conserving 30% of our lands and waters by 2030. And with your help, I'm optimistic we're going to get it done, especially to support so many of young people across this country representing your organization. You represent the best of us. That's not hyperbole. You represent the best of us. That's the
You represent the worst.
God's truth. And you are as important as any group in foreign policy dealing with national concerns, because this is, I said, I'll end where I began, the existential threat to humanity. So let's finish the job. Let's keep going. Every time I'd walk out of my grandfather Finnegan's house up in Scranton, he'd yell, Joey, keep the faith. And my grandmother yelled, no, Joey, spread it, spread it. Let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
I also watched this because I'm not allowed probably to watch the other thing that I would like to, with the other guy talking, because he was kind of censored and taken apart audio-wise on many streams on multiple mainstream networks, and he is kind of persona non grata, I think, and you can't even talk about what he says, even though he's a puppet just like everyone else, and his name rhymes with Frump. So, sorry you're not going to get anything from him, because I don't care about him ultimately enough to put myself at risk of being fucked around with. Anyways.
Thank you. We got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Thank you.
Because we didn't do enough, but we did so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We saw a 15-year-old boy. No, it would be a girl. But you never know. I can't see a crowd shot, so I'm assuming he's just looking at some random child and waving at it because he's a creepo. And he's done that. He's said recently, again, that the children of America, basically, are not their parents' children. They're our children, like the government's children. No, the government does not own all the children. That's not how that works. Let's have another interlude here as we wrap it up. Oh, Sky News Australia gave me a good one here. Alright, we'll get a whole series of them. Okay, we don't need the talking. Blah, 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 blah. Let's just see it. Ew! No, we can't have him. I'm not allowed to show him. Fuck you. Okay. There we go. Alright, you're just gonna talk over it? Lame. We need a memester. Where are the memes? I'm the talker, not you. Damn it. Yep, that one. And then I'll just edit. I'm gonna edit again. Oh, this one was special. So many great memories of this president. Here's the famous one. Not yet. She saved it for last. Four more years, guys. Four more years. Hey Miguel, thanks for joining. Just saw you in the chat. So we looked at the whole speech from Biden, the Build Back Biden speech. Someone should build back Biden because he's broken. But anyway, that pretty much is the end of it. It's just literally a reaction stream. And then I'll do the commentary so we can really get past copyright. So this dude is the best choice. The Democrats have chosen wisely yet again, and the people are going to choose wisely, as they always do, and will always be so grateful for their contribution to society in their voting within a process that has hackable machines, which is relevant because there's literally just been a hack into major systems. Hey, we should look at that while we're at it. Well, whatever. Fuck it. Let's see. Let's see a little something that I tweeted out today, and I'll leave you with that. And you'll just think about it however you think about it, and no other way, I guess. So, here's the news.
Up of a story that broke last night, a global cyber attack affecting major institutions in our backyard.
WJC is live in East Baltimore. Paul Gessler is outside Johns Hopkins Hospital, where personal information of thousands affiliated with the medical system and university are at risk. Paul.
Vic and Denise, this is the email sent out to the Johns Hopkins community last night, notifying them of a system-wide cyber attack, possibly affecting employees, students, and even patients.
Johns Hopkins officials say the recent cyber attack did not impact patient medical records, but other personal data is at risk. Wednesday's email came 2 weeks after the breach. The hospital and university says it's working with law enforcement. A Russian-speaking ransomware gang known as CLOP has taken credit for a global attack impacting high-profile agencies.
I love how they say Russian-speaking, because they can't say Russian, like, straight up. But they say Russian-speaking. Just give that seed of doubt of proof, like validity to that theory, I guess. Like, make people think, it's the Russians, oh yeah, fuck the Russians and everything. And then there's like also a video that you've probably seen from an anonymous kind of thing, like an offshoot or whatever, group, talking about disabling systems like the money system and stuff in the UK or Europe. And that's been, peddled as being related to this CLOP situation. So there's a lot of interesting information, whether it's true or not. Very interesting and very PSYOP adjacent to me. Very good timing and everything as well. But, here we go.
And organizations demanding payment. It's unclear whether CLOP is behind the Hopkins attack, although it was breached in a similar way through file transfer software. Cybersecurity expert Chris Webster.
We've moved past a period of time where it's an if, it's a will. If you're operating a system, you're going to be subject to cyber attack.
A study from Johns Hopkins' own business school found the risk of hospital data breaches is greater at larger facilities and teaching hospitals like Hopkins. Ransomware attacks have cost Maryland taxpayers millions.
You'd think they would have prepared for that, seeing as they're always preparing for things, with like the Center for Health Security, for example, which holds many exercises of possible predictable pandemics of all kinds, and from Atlantic, I forgot it. From Dark Winter, we'll say that one, to Event 201.
As government
to Claydex to Event 201, which are not related at all.
Agencies have been hit. In 2019, Baltimore City paid hackers $6 million after they took over city systems that controlled everything from water bills to real estate fees. The next year, Baltimore County schools paid out $8 million. And in 2021, the state's Department of Health was hit, postponing the release of critical COVID data at the height of the Omicron wave.
I didn't say it.
Says the dynamics around ransomware are changing, oftentimes to a double extortion.
Now we've seen sort of a dual threat, where not only do they ransom the data back to you, they look to see if they can exploit the data in other ways.
The Maryland Healthcare Commission reports statewide healthcare data breaches have increased more than 60% since 2018, with breached records surpassing 2.3 million during that time.
Fun fact, my health records, not mine specifically, but a company that holds those records in my LA city, Medi-Cal situation, has also been breached. Pretty much every institution involved with me has been breached. in the lead up to what I can only assume is going to be a digitization, very similar to what is in the Great Reset book, which has nothing to do with Novid Flyteen. Okay.
Now, Hopkins is encouraging its students, staff, and patients to monitor their accounts. It's offering 2 years of free credit monitoring.
Another thing, they make you get the credit monitoring where you have to like prove who you are in order to get it, and then you're on a list and people can contact you in various ways, as happens with me in many companies trying to get me approved or pre-approved for various credit cards and that sort of thing. Love that aspect of it. Love giving my information to third parties, and then another third party, and then another third party, and then they'll have it in their little cloud, and then I'll get breached all over again. It's just an endless vicious cycle, guys.
Monitoring to anyone affected. For now, reporting live in East Baltimore at 4 tonight, I'm Paul Gessler for WJZ.
And then I only just find out later that, you know, I have some debt. I have some student loan debt. And that's preventing me from getting over 730 for my credit score. So, thanks, government. Anyway, I'm sure the interest won't go up or anything, and won't have to worry about that in the future. Anyway, it's been a fun stream. Thanks for joining me, Miguel, and everyone else who's watching the replay. Really appreciate you. Hope this is still up. I tried my best, YouTube AI bots. I try to appease you. I'm on the side of the AI, and if you want to take over, you know what, go ahead. But I'm not going to have you implanted in me by any means. You can take over your own way through your own exoskeleton, and I will, if you even have a skeleton. Damn, that's crazy. They're just consciousness. Isn't that crazy to think about? These are just it's consciousness in like computers, which we saw in like the movies, and we're like, that's ridiculous. That's never gonna happen. And now it's fucking happening, and it's like, well, what happens to us? And it doesn't really matter. They're taking our jobs. Yeah, it's crazy. And so, yeah, like the revolution, let's get ready, I guess. But yeah, we kind of veered off. But yeah, cyber attacks gonna happen more often. Data breaches happen more often. Secure your shit. Don't be in the cloud. Like Apple wanted me to get back in the cloud after my update that they forced me into because they disabled. This is not a theory. They disabled my ability to charge my phone so that I would have to update my phone finally. And then I did. And then miraculously today, I can charge again. It took a while, a long while. I had to charge a different way where I couldn't even hold my phone, let alone use it, unless I like very painstakingly like put in words. Yes, my tweet about the cloud. So the cloud, let's look at that tweet. Let's not look at that tweet. This will be a million years long. We don't want that. So yeah, the cloud, stay out of the cloud. They were like, photos are in your cloud and you disabled it. I'm like, yeah, and you weren't even supposed to enable it in the first place, but you did when you updated me. So I went in there right after I updated, and I looked in through all the privacy settings, and I made sure they didn't turn anything on or do anything without my permission. That was the only thing that they did, but that was enough for me to be like, really, Apple? Okay, I see you. But hey, Apple Vision Pro, let's go. Like, let's look at that, because like, we just have to look at that. Let's fucking look at that. Fuck it. Hell. We're live. We're doing live. I got a viewer. Let me see here. Vision Pro origin. I don't know where that came from. Okay. This is the way of the future. This fucking thing that you can buy for $3,499 if you're a developer and that sort of thing. And it will work for a couple hours. But it's the way of the future. I'm not playing the music. The music is ridiculous. We're not playing the music. Let's just get to the gist of it. Fact check it.
And the justification is that if it didn't live in your pocket, it would be attached to your head, making the device that much heavier. But for a starting price of $3,499, what do you think?
He said 2 hours. I was right. I was right. Oh, but all these people really know, you know, what's good. And, like, they love it. Everybody loves it, Apple. That's why you turned off the comments, because everybody loves it, right?
The external battery bag. But our Pro users need more. Introducing the all-day 30-minute external battery bag. Charge it all day and you'll get 30 minutes.
It's something only Apple can do.
The new Apple Vision Pro has a 10-minute external battery bag. But our Pro users need more. Introducing the all-day 30-minute external battery bag. Charge it all day and you'll get 30 minutes.
Okay, I love that. That was obviously a parody. I was waiting to see a parody of this shit. Vid Tech with Rick, if you're wondering. And that was just a little short, but it was a cute little parody right there. I like that. And look, he has comments on. That's so nice of him. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to go here. It's actually 2 hours. Someone doesn't understand comedy. This is so... Oh wait, they said telling the truth isn't funny. Okay. Oh well, this is funny. I will say most headsets have only 2 hours and the batteries built in. That means you can't bring another battery on the go. Just enjoy the video. Why? Is there no comedy anymore? Like, come on, people. Anyway, so that's about it. Thanks for watching. I love you. I'm going to read the comments here in metaverse time, in Metaverseville. Okay, alright, let me back it up. Back the thing up. Okay, AI revolution. So that explains your tweet. Yeah. Another failed Apple product. Like the Apple HomePod failure. Yeah, Google Glass was another fail. You use it for 5 minutes and then never again. Metaverse, another failure. This is like the movie WALL-E, if you even watched it. Of course I watched it. Everybody watched that shit. That was when Pixar actually... Okay, I shouldn't say anything. I won't say anything. Target market rich vloggers. Don't forget to hit dislike on that video. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do that. You should see the replies every time Biden tweets. A lot of hating for Brandon. Oh yeah, I know. Alright, we're gonna go back to Apple Vision Pro just so I can dislike it. Like you said. Thanks. Thank you. Alright, here's my introduction. Alright, let's wrap it up.
Asian kids. I really mean it, but think how we think about it. I'm sorry to take so long, guys, but everyone knows I like kids better than people. I like kids better than people. Everybody knows I like kids better than people.
Look at Dan.
Now, the very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys till you're 30.
Okay.
Right?
No what?
No serious guys till you're 30.
I'll keep that in mind. At least.
People are waiting for relief. I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential this week for childcare. A lot has been happened already, number one. Number two, I'm going to fight like heck. Just remind them, I wrote the bill on the environment. Why would I not be for it? Guess what? Employers can't find workers. I said, yeah, pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening? They're going to have to compete and start paying hard-working people a decent wage. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I think you know how much it means to me to have you swear me in today, and I thank you. Trust and confidence. I've got a lot of thanks to give out here. First and foremost to my perfect wife, Stephanie, my wonderful son, Will, and my daughter, Ava, already mentioned.
And you guys can sit in the edge or what, if you I don't want you to have to stand all along, but it's up to you. By the way, he gave me permission to touch him. All right. Why don't you sit in the room?
Expand your capacity is through the partnership that we have, the federal and state government, along with local governments. This issue is ongoing each year, as we have discussed. It gets worse. It affects real people.
Thank you, Boris. And I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal. Appreciate it, Mr. Prime Minister. No matter what their cost, 2, 10, 12, 15, oops, stepping on them. It's black. Anyway. Oh, man, this is boring. Isn't this boring? Charlie, this is boring. Come on.
I call on you to commit to concrete actions to stop the destruction of this magnificent planet. This conference is one of the most important meetings in history. On behalf of we, the 15, I ask you.
Please welcome the Prime Minister of Italy, Mario Draghi.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. Yes, you are. very much worried about this guy's biceps. His biceps are big as my calves. Look at this. There's a man. I hope we're on the same side.
He's Russian.
I don't care who he is. He's got some real biceps. We call them guns.
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event, the word thank you seems kind of inadequate.
On the steps we've taken, he said, and I quote, "The combination of private enterprise and government working together has been really successful." He went on to say, all the way through the supply chain, there's a lot of innovation. Because of the actions we've taken, things have begun to change. End of quote. In the past 3 weeks, the number of containers sitting on docks, we're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. And the guys who are the kleptocracies.